In chapter 1 of your book, it asks several questions that I think any of us can identify with. Are you bombarded by email? Are you drowning in paper? Are you constantly interrupted by others? Are you distracted and finding it difficult to focus on your work? And are you sacrificing your health, family, and friends for work? How many of us can say yes to all of those things, sadly? And the bigger issue is, how did we get here?
Great question. I think most of us can, and the sad part is most of us even more so now. I think 2009 proved to be one of clear uncertainty and more rapid change than we were actually used to. So it's a tough place to be, and yet it's forcing us to really look at and consider, what do we find valuable? Harvard Business Review just this last month had an article in it about the number one thing professionals want now is to make forward progress on the work that they have. And so it's with all of the new technologies, all of the uncertainty, with all of the increased need for our jobs with so many people without them, it's kind of creating a place of fear inside of people. So it's a great place. It's a tough place to be, but it's also a great place of opportunity in that people are actually asking themselves the question, how do I want my life, and particularly my work life, to go? So it's a tough place to be, but a great opportunity for all of us that are there.
I thought technology was supposed to help us become more efficient. I mean, 20 years ago, you had a telephone at your home. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, they called, and if they didn't get a hold of you, there was no answering machine. There was no voicemail. They simply had to keep calling to get a hold of you. But now we've got, then we had cell phones. So then we had 2 voicemail systems to check into. And then we have emails. We have personal and private emails. We have BlackBerries. We have iPhones. We have all of this technology that was sold to us under the idea of becoming more efficient. But has it really made us more efficient?
I think with every piece of technology, there's a plus side to it, and there's definitely a downside. And most of us don't really take time to learn how to effectively use technology, where we walk into a culture and we have to figure out how to use Outlook. We're handed a PDA or a cell phone or a BlackBerry, and we're supposed to figure out how to use it. Well, many times those tools don't come with good setups to them.
Mm-hmm.
The admin function in IT doesn't necessarily set up your email or your Outlook, so it's the most effective for you. They set it up how it comes shipped and boxed to you. So it definitely, I think we can leverage technology, but a big piece of that's missing with the technology is the thinking that must take place for us as professionals before we can leverage technology.
Would it be easier to go back before we had all of this technology, and would we be more organized if that were the case?
I'd love to say that we could go back. I just don't see that that's feasible. I do think many of us as professionals are wanting to feel more success, to feel more accomplishment, and the tools actually allow us to do that if we use them effectively.
Well, and
go ahead.
I was just going to, I think one of the barriers might be our own egos in, I guess, admitting that we have a problem with organization. I mean, who wants to admit to their boss or to their manager that they're not very effective? I mean, I'm disorganized and I have a time management problem. Who wants to admit that?
And we suffer in silence. You're right. And we're supposed to figure these things out. In fact, I had a conversation with a prospective client, and he said, I'm sorry, we don't offer that here. People are supposed to figure out how to manage that. That's what we pay them to do.